It is all the news all the time, and it is lovely to have you here once again. And we're looking at some interesting stories coming out today. Yes, we are. And it's talking about did Johnny Depp, there he is, and Angelina Jolie, there she is, did they have an affair during their filming of the film called Tourist? Is that the situation that occurred? When I was looking at some of the interviews between the two, they seemed very, very fond of each other, saying things like, she's a walking poem, and she's the most beautiful woman I've ever seen. She's bright, intelligent, witty. She's saying he's lovely, he's adorable, he's funny, whatever. So let's have a little look. So this is from Your Tango, and they're saying, did they have an affair? Angelina Jolie was once accused of having an affair with Johnny Depp, according to unverified reports. Those classic unverified reports from sources, as we know. The two actors are separately involved in two of the most high-profile celebrity lawsuits against their exes currently, which is obviously Brad Pitt and A.H. Brad Pitt is currently suing Angelina Jolie, who is counter-suing Brad Pitt, and we've got Johnny and A.H., which is also in the counter-suit situation. So there you go. Pirates of the Caribbean star and the Tomb Raider lead were once linked in another way. I'm saying romantically. There they are. And that's very interesting. So did Angelina Jolie cheat on Brad Pitt with Johnny Depp? Well, who would have think such a thing? There is no substantial proof that they had an affair. Well, that's that sorted out then. But no, the two starred in The Tourist, which is a 2010 film, and both had romantic partners at the time. Well, that's never stopped anyone, to be honest. Jolie was with Brad Pitt, who she later married in 2014, and the two share 6 children. Depp, as you know, was still with his longtime partner and mother of his 2 children, Vanessa Paradis, but they split up in 2012 before he married the absolute nightmare. And Angelina Jolie and Johnny Depp were alleged to have had an affair on the set of The Tourist. Well, there you go. Rumours swirled around the filming, but there was no concrete evidence to support the claim. Depp did have a lot of praise for Jolie at the time. She's a walking poem, Angelina wrote, he said, and that's very kind. She's this perfect beauty, but at the same time very deep, very smart, very quick, very clever, very funny. She also has a very perverse sense of humour, very similar to Johnny Depp, I think. She's great fun, he says. And what does she say? Angelina Jolie allegedly had a crush on Johnny Depp. I mean, who doesn't? According to an excerpt from Angelina, an unauthorised biography, Jolie was allegedly smitten with Depp for years before they finally met. Well, why not? Angela was smitten with actor Johnny Depp, who played Edward Scissorhands, an isolated figure with scissors for hands, who lives in an attic and falls for the teenage daughter of a suburban family, the book claims. The book alleges that Jolie also gushed about Depp, saying that he's a brilliant actor and nice guy, so funny, and added the pair couldn't stop laughing while they were filming together. So that's the question, isn't it? Were they having canoodling time on set? And we do know that good old Johnny, he does like to go out with a co-star. That's one of his things. Such as Cheryl Ann Fenn, or she was an actress on Twin Peaks, Jennifer Grey from Dirty Dancing, Winona Ryder, Vanessa Paradis, and of course A.H. herself. So all of these women from previous films. So I mean, would you not be tempted if you were Johnny Depp and you're staring at Angelina Jolie every day in a romantic comedy type situation? Film The Tourist was a remake of the 2005 French film Anthony Zimmer, and it was described, it didn't do very well with the critics, but it was described as a travel romance with thriller elements. But the director said if he had to choose between the two, he would choose comedy. So it's a travel romance comedy thriller, that well-known genre. that we all know and love so much. So there you go. But would you, if you were Johnny Depp and you have this tendency to go out with your female co-stars and you're looking at the beautiful Angelina Jolie every day in a romantic comedy slash thriller slash travel, whatever it is, would you? Yes, you would. Yes, you is what I'm saying. Yes, you would. And I certainly would. She's beautiful. Anyway, there was some footage floating around that they're saying that surfaced with a good 15-20 minutes where they could not stop laughing. The book says they wasted a lot of film, got a lot of producers very frustrated. We couldn't just get through it. And Johnny Depp was accused of being romantic with Angelina Jolie in the defamation lawsuit with AH. It was a disclosure which was ahead of the defamation trial against her, which took place between April and June. Johnny Depp was ordered to hand over any communications with romantic partners. And in 2020, The Hollywood Reporter claimed this list included Angelina Jolie, Keira Knightley, and Marion Cotillard. So there you go. Some very interesting claims being made about the old Angelina Jolie situation. I don't know what your thoughts are on the issue, but if we move on to some other interesting stuff. Brad Pitt choked on his children, Angelina Jolie says in a court filing. This is a very interesting situation, but we're looking at a court filing on Tuesday that Angelina Jolie alleges that on 2016 in a flight, Brad Pitt grabbed her by the head and shook her and then choked one of their children and struck another when they tried to defend her. This is very extreme. The descriptions of abuse on the private flight came in a cross-complaint Jolie filed in the couple's dispute over a French home and winery they co-owned that is separate from their ongoing divorce, which she sought soon after. So yeah, this is a very strange circumstance. People are asking my opinion. I didn't know enough about it, so I've done some research trying to work out what I think is going on. But a representative for Brad Pitt, who was not authorised to speak public, strongly denied Jolie's allegations and called them another rehash that only harms the family. So what I'm seeing is Brad Pitt at the moment is authorising his representatives to make claims that Angelina Jolie is trying to do a smear campaign against him. That's what I'm seeing so far. But the allegations of abuse on the plane first became public shortly after the flight, but reports were initially vague. Details were kept sealed in divorce documents, and investigations by the FBI and LA County Department of Children and Family Services, both of which found no action against Pitt was necessary. So there you go. A judge gave Brad 50-50 custody of the children after a closed-door trial in which the allegations were aired, but an appeals court subsequently disqualified the private judge for not disclosing possible conflicts of interest after a motion from Angelina nullifying the decision. So there's a conflict of interest with the judge, and he grants 50-50 custody, but that's been nullified. So more details of the allegation were revealed earlier this year when a Jolie lawsuit against the FBI over a Freedom of Information request was made public. So very interesting stuff going on. I was looking at some other news from Reddit talking about Brad Pitt's contradictions, getting an assist from outlets by TMZ. So it seems a lot of people are claiming Brad Pitt is using TMZ as a method of spreading disinformation against Angelina Jolie in relation to this complaint. And there's another person here by the name of Lainey Gossip, and I think she explains the situation quite well. She's saying Angelina Jolie filed a counterclaim against Brad Pitt yesterday that included details of this abuse on the plane. And this is from New York Times, breaking news. New court filing by Angelina Jolie details allegations that Brad Pitt abused her and children on a plane in 2016. Grabbed her by the head, shook her, choked one child, struck one in the face. So this is the claim that Angelina Jolie is making, but this is a countersuit. And so let's have a look. If you've been visiting the site regularly for a while, most of this isn't new. I posted about this Freedom of Information request, but this was heavily redacted. But all of this information comes from a lawsuit over this Chateau Miraval, which is a winery. And that's the part that's getting lost in a lot of the conversation for people who haven't been following the situation. So, to begin, let's be clear about the fact that this is a counterclaim. Angelina is responding to a lawsuit that Brad started, as he is suing her for selling her share of this chateau to these people, Tenute del Mundo. So Brad is also in a legal dispute with those people. So there's two legal disputes going on, and there's a counterclaim going on. That legal dispute between Brad and Tenuto del Monde was before this lawsuit against Angela. And Tenuto del Mondo has accused Brad and his companies of hiding financial information about the mismanagement of the winery estate. So there's a timeline. Angelina and Brad buy this winery. Okay, time passes. Angelina sells her share of the winery to Tenuto del Mondo. This annoys Brad Pitt. Tenuto del Mondo takes over and starts pressuring Brad about the management of the chateau. Brad is annoyed about her selling this and does not want to work with Tenuto del Mondo, and so begins legal proceedings against them. I don't know if he starts that or they start that, but legal proceedings start between Tenuto del Monde and Brad Pitt. Brad then sues Angelina, accusing her of going behind his back to make the sale, because he thinks that they have an agreement of what they can sell, when they can sell, and who they can sell it to. And he thinks that she's betrayed him by selling it to these people without telling him. So Brad then accuses Angelina of deliberately trying to harm his business, his reputation. Okay, and then Angelina and Tenuto del Monde respond to his legal filings, legal suit, with counterclaims of their own. So that's where we are today. So this is a result of a claim started by Brad Pitt, but it shows she's reacting to it. So there's a lot of people assuming that Angelina is just out to get Brad. She's a vindictive bee, just sitting around trying to smear his reputation. And then Brad Pitt goes through TMZ, or uses his representatives to contact TMZ and make this claim. Angelina Jolie is on a smear campaign against Brad Pitt, hashing and rehashing the same allegations she's made for years, allegations that have fallen flat with authorities, and this is according to sources, good old sources, close to Brad. So it seems that there's counterclaims and use of the media to push an agenda by Brad Pitt to smear Angelina because she sold this property without his permission. But so that's the situation pretty much at the moment, and that's the focus of it, how Brad has weaponized the media against Angelina, positioning himself as the defender when he was actually the starter of this thing. But why did this kick off anyway? Why is there a link between the sale of this property of the winery and the assault, if there was one, on a plane? Why are these two things linked? The two are linked because Brad Pitt asked that in the sale Angelina also sign a non-disclosure agreement which agreed not to talk about the breakdown of their marriage and the abuse she and the children allegedly experienced before he would agree to a deal. So he was saying to her, yes, I'll buy this property, or your share in this property, but you have to sign a non-disclosure agreement not to talk about our marriage and not to talk about anything that happened on the plane. And she said no. And because of that, this situation got forced into a legal situation, because she then went to a judge and asked a judge for legal permission to sell her share, and the judge granted that permission. So she has the legal groundings to sell this property. But then Brad started to sue her for it. So because Brad sued her for it, and it relates to this non-disclosure agreement, that's what ties the two situations together: the sale of the winery and the incident, if there was one, on the plane. So that's where we're at the moment. So let me know your thoughts and your ideas about this issue, because I was doing some research into it, and it's still a bit confused in my head. I'm not 100% sure about which side is which and who's doing what and why. So if you've got any more information, I'd be very interested to hear about it. And yeah, I think that's all I wanted to talk about at the moment. I think there will be more on this issue coming up. But I'll put some videos up here you can watch. Please subscribe if you found anything interesting. There's all you can like, that'd be nice. There's super thanks if you want to buy me some rum. I like rum. And there's memberships. Join the membership, that's brilliant. And there's things you can do, and there's icons in chat. And thank you for watching, and I will see you guys later.